Hi everyone, it's Jason here. In tutorial number 8, we set up various frequencies that we can use on our online booking form as well as our invoice builder. These included frequencies like one time, weekly, and monthly, for example. Today we're going to look at how the selection of a reoccurring service interval, such as weekly or monthly, is going to save us a lot of time by automatically creating appointments in our calendar at those intervals. So to explain how this works, let's look at a quick process flow. So step 1, a booking is created for a reoccurring frequency, for example, weekly. And this could be the result of, say, an online booking by a customer, the approval of a quotation, or the manual creation of an invoice. Step 2, after that booking is set in place, something called a master invoice is created. There's a few things to know about this master invoice. So it is simply a copy of the invoice that was created for the customer when the booking was created. The master invoice is not actually payable by the customer. It's simply the document from which all future appointments are created. Step 3, after the master invoice is created, reoccurring appointments are created based on the master invoice. Our system will clone the details off of the master invoice and build appointments that are of the same length and contain the same services as the master invoice. The recurring invoices and appointments will be automatically built out about 3 months in advance so that you always have a reasonable picture of what your future schedule looks like. And step 4 is relating to auto scheduling. So if you've got auto scheduling enabled, the original booking as well as all the future reoccurring bookings will be automatically scheduled to your staff. So the main benefits of this system is that you don't have to manually create appointments for repeat customers who may have a contract with you. And the appointments of repeat customers can be scheduled months in advance so that their regular time slot is secured. So now that I've explained how this process works, let's go through the process of creating a reoccurring appointment, and we'll do this via the invoice creation process. So what we'll do is we'll first select a customer. Let's see. We'll select a customer from our list of customers here and select Jimmy. And we'll go create invoice. We'll select new invoice. And we'll keep the details of this pretty brief. So we'll say house cleaning, $250, and we'll say that it's going to occur weekly. So in terms of the appointment, we'll select April 1st as the appointment. Select noon. All right, so if we scroll down, we see here that we have the option of selecting a preferred team for this job and all future jobs. We'll select the clean team as the preferred team, since we'll say this team's actually worked for the customer before and the customer is quite happy with their work. Then we can indicate whether or not any other teams should be auto-scheduled to these jobs. If the clean team is not available, we'll say yes, we're fine with that. Right, we'll click save. Right, so now we're on the payment page, step 3 of this process. The customer will pay for this particular job or work on April 1st after the service has been completed. So what we'll do is we'll select credit card as the other payment option and then just save this. So now we're on the invoice detail for this appointment. We can see that our auto scheduler has run and that the appointment was in fact auto scheduled, which is great. And to confirm that, what we'll do is click Actions and Schedule Job. And we can see that it was, in fact, scheduled to the clean team. All right, so then the invoice and the appointment for our April 1st work has been created and scheduled to our staff. So what about the April 8th appointment and the April 15th appointment? Let's go into this customer's profile to have a look. So we'll click on his name here. We go to the bottom, we see in this bottom right hand corner, reoccurring orders. We see that it is weekly and it starts on April 1st and does not have an end date. So let's have a look at the invoice listing for this customer. We'll click on Invoices at the top here. And then what we'll do is we'll select Future Reoccurring Invoices from the bottom. So here we can see we can see that the April 1st appointment's been created. We created that one manually. But we can also see that appointments have been created for each and every week past that. We see one for April 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th. So this is exactly what we expected. It's created these appointments for us into the future so that we don't have to do that ourselves. What we'll do next is we'll have a quick look at the master invoice that basically spawned all of these future appointments. So from the drop down, we'll click Master Invoices. And there's just one here. We'll click View. So you'll see that it pretty much looks the same as the other documents that we've looked at in the past. Notable differences include this heading here indicating that it's not actually an invoice, it is not payable by the customer, and that it's for internal use only. If we scroll down, there are also some slight differences in what we see for the booking details. We see a reference to the first appointment date and when the reoccurring invoice or order is set to end. There's no end date here, so it's set to forever. And lastly, what we'll do is we'll have a look at the calendar to see if this is actually, if these appointments have actually been scheduled, right? So we'll click on scheduling and calendar. What we'll do is we will select April 1st as a start date, and let's go April 30th as an end date, and we'll select the clean team. So we see it here, April 1st at noon. It was scheduled to those 3 employees. If we go over to April 8th, once again, it was auto-scheduled to the clean team. 1 week later, also auto-scheduled, and it just continues like that. Right. So that's exactly as we expected. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, that's great. I can easily create identical reoccurring appointments that are automatically scheduled to my team. But what if the customer calls and they say that they want to move all future appointments from, say, noon to, we'll say, 2 p.m. And they also want to add oven cleaning to the service. So let's take a look at how we can actually accommodate that request. So first we need to go into the customer's profile. So the quickest way to do that is by clicking on See Info on one of these appointments. And we'll click on the customer's name here. And then what we'll do is we'll click Invoices and we'll just go back to that master invoice. So from the filter list, we'll go Master Invoices and we'll open it up. So we're in the master invoice. From the Actions tab, what we're going to do is we're going to edit the master invoice. So we'll click the Edit button. All right, so this is the one and only service that we had added to the invoice when we initially set it up. We're going to add oven cleaning for $30, and we'll click Save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change the time from 12 to 2 o'clock. Save that as well. So it says master invoice successfully updated. With the master invoice updated, let's have a look at one of our future appointments to see if the change actually saved. So in order to have a look at one of those future appointments, there's actually another way we can quickly do that. We can click on actions and we can click on related invoices. These are all the invoices that were kind of spawned by the master invoice, right? So let's look at our April 15th appointment. So at the top, we're told that it's based on a master invoice. We look down, we see the oven cleaning did get applied to this future appointment, $30. We also notice that the appointment time has moved up by 2 hours. It used to be noon, now it's 2 p.m. What this means is that the change that we made to that master invoice, both in terms of the services that it contained as well as the appointment time, those changes have been propagated from the master to all of the reoccurring future invoices, just as we expected. All right, so the updates that we can actually make to the master invoice that will then be pushed down to all of the reoccurring invoices are many and include appointment frequency, appointment time, appointment duration, appointment arrival window, services and their pricing, taxes, discounts, preferred team, and the property that the work order pertains to. All right, so let's look at another scenario. Let's say the customer contacts us and they say that on April 29th, they want their walls to be washed. So how can we add this service to just one appointment, the April 29th appointment? So what we need to do is go into this customer's invoice listing. And what we'll do is, well, it's right here actually. This is the April 29th appointment, so we'll open that up. Click actions, and we are going to edit the invoice. What we'll do is we'll add wall washing to the list of services here. And we'll say that's $100. You'll notice there's a new option here. Because this invoice pertains to a future appointment and it's based on a master invoice, we have this option that says suppress changes from master invoice. With this checkbox clicked, this will ensure that any changes that we make to the master invoice will not be pushed down to this particular work order. And what that means is that this list of services will not be impacted. We're essentially crystallizing these. So what we'll do is we'll save this. And we're happy with the 2 p.m. appointment time. So we'll save that. And once again, we'll say that the client will pay after service has been completed. Right, so there we go. Okay, so the auto scheduler has actually kind of reassigned this appointment given the availability of our teams. Right, so for the last topic, we're going to talk about how we can stop these reoccurring invoices from being generated in the future. As of right now, they're being built out weekly, right? Let's say the customers reached out to us and they indicate that they wish to have their last service with us on April 29th. To process this request, what we have to do is go into the master invoice and set an end date. So we're going to go into our invoices. And from the drop-down list, we'll click Master Invoices. And we're going to open this up by clicking the View button. Once again, we'll click Actions, and we need to edit the master invoice. Click Edit. Okay, so we're fine with the services, we're fine with the frequency. We'll just click save on this page. If we scroll down, we've got an option here that says reoccurring appointment end date. We need to select April 29th, essentially. Oh, that's March. Save that. Okay, so with that change made, any future dated invoices and appointments related to that master invoice that were dated after April 29th have now been deleted. There's also another way that we can set an end date to a reoccurring order. Let's say the client has reached out to us and they say that they want April 15th to be the last appointment. So what we'll do is we'll go into, well, we're currently in the master invoice, as indicated up here. We're going to go actions, and we're going to go delete reoccurrence. And the description here tells us that this will allow us to delete the master invoice as well as the future invoices that are based on it. So we'll click delete reoccurrence. All right, so at the top here, we see details of the master invoice that are details of the master invoice that is to be deleted, right? We see the customer name, first appointment, the reoccurrence, and the order total. This basically gives us an opportunity in this section to delete the appointments that are no longer needed, right? So the client indicated to us that April 15th was to be the last appointment date. What we'll do is select April 22nd as being the appointment that we want to delete from this list. We can select all of them, we can select none of them. If we still want to keep these, in this case, the customer no longer wants this appointment. All right, so what we'll do is we'll click delete. All right, so there we go. The master invoice has been deleted, and the only appointments remaining are just for April 1st, April 8th, and April 15th. With the master invoice now deleted, no additional appointments will be created in the future. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we see that we no longer have an indication that we have a reoccurring order for this customer. So to wrap up this video, I'll just mention that we have an article in our help center that can assist you if you have any problems with the reoccurring invoice functionality that we've discussed here today. You can get to that by scrolling to the top, clicking help, and then you can just search for reoccurring invoicing. So that's pretty much all we have for you today. If you do have any questions on this or any other topic, feel free to submit a ticket or reach out to us using the information on our contact us page. Thanks. Have a great day.